So finally what I want to talk about today is some of the stroke settings for the brush. So I've got a new plane here. I've subdivided it 100 times, so I've got plenty of geometry to work with. And let's go into sculpt mode. Right, so I can either open up my tool panel and look at the tools and brush settings. Why am I not seeing stroke? Oh, okay. Is it here? It is what I was looking for. Oh, I could have sworn it's over there. Probably is, I'm not finding it. Anyway, let's have a look at some of the stroke settings. And what I'm interested in here is this stroke method. So with this kind of draw brush, let me just expand this across a bit so we can see the names. The standard stroke method is space. So I can just kind of draw across here and build it up. Let's change this. We got dots, which will give it kind of, you can kind of see where it's getting not so smooth. It's building up in dots. In actual fact, if I was to turn that radius down a bit, it'd probably be a bit easier to see, I wonder. No, it's still the same. But you can see on the reflection there where we're getting kind of like the dot build up. Okay, drag dot. I probably need to turn the fall off up to see this. Let's make that about 0.5 or thereabouts. You can see where it's dragging the dot kind of across, and I could go somewhere where I want to place it and release it for it to stick. I could build up on that. I could try another dot here, bring it closer. Okay, so that's drag dot. Right. Airbrush is an interesting one. With airbrush, let's come in the middle here. I click and it just kind of builds up like an airbrush would. It just builds up the material. Okay. Let's try that with the cloth brush, the airbrush. Okay, so let me scale this down a bit. Right, so if I go for the cloth brush and airbrush, you see I'm not moving my mouse, but it's building that up. Control Z, or let's turn this strength down. So I could... Okay. So that's probably looking more like some of you would have been wanting. Let's go to layout. Let's just shade this smooth. Let's go back to sculpting. So I could... And I'm just holding the button on my mouse. And it's just smoothing these wrinkles out and spreading them. So we're getting a more kind of... more natural looking to me. Let's try one in from this side. You see where I moved my mouse backwards there? That didn't work too well. So that's kind of more controllable if you're looking for this kind of random look. There we go. Let's go back to the draw brush. We were looking at airbrush. Anchored. anchored will kind of increase the radius. Where are controls at? There we go. So if I hold my mouse in the middle, I'm doing all these today with a mouse, by the way, not with a pen. If I click my mouse, nothing happens. As I draw my mouse out, you see how the brush radius is getting bigger and bigger. And I can actually reverse that with this one. It just anchors the brush onto that center point and then moves the radius out. Anchored line we kind of discussed with the cloth brush, I believe. If I draw a line, that's where my stroke goes. And similarly, if I was to do that with the cloth, change that to line. Give it a bit more strength. Okay. Right, let's come back to the draw brush. And this final one, curve, I'll be honest with you, I haven't used it. It says draw curve, so what happens if I draw a curve? Nothing. I don't know about the curve. New. Paint curve. Let's draw curve. I'd have to look into that one. Let's get rid of that. New. Paint curve. Guessing I'd have to texture paint it and then it would follow it. I would have to look into that, but I haven't used it. But the one I think that's interesting for today certainly is using the airbrush on the cloth. Anchor doesn't seem to work too well on the cloth. I did try it earlier. Okay. But certainly the airbrush is doing something where I've got control. Limited control, I know, but nonetheless some control just by holding my mouse. Right, I think that's gonna be it for about today. We've talked a little about fall off and cursor colors, etc. Yeah, so with the stroke you get obviously jitter is going to randomize your brush a bit, but with stroke you've got more ways to control your brush and what it's doing. Let's use the airbrush. Okay, let's pull this across here. Kind of too much. Let's turn that strength down. Okay, let's go to a smooth. For smooth, let's use an airbrush and just kind of smooth this out. The longer I hold my mouse, the more smooth it becomes. Let's come back to cloth. Let's add a little more there. Let's come back to smooth. Smooth this down a little bit. Smooth these edges down. So there you have a way to kind of control your brushes by using the stroke.